Now we have some questions from our viewers, along with some cell phone tips and tricks. Here's our first question. Is there anything I can do to extend my battery life? I feel like I am constantly recharging my cell phone. Well, I certainly know that feeling. I even have a car charger so that every time I'm driving someplace I can recharge it. But there are some things we can do also, besides that, to preserve your battery life. First of all, if you have a bright screen on your phone, just dimming the screen is going to help. On this phone, to dim the screen, I'm going to go to Settings, and you're going to see Brightness. And I have an option of a very bright screen or a dim one. Even just moving it a little bit might save you quite a bit. Next, if you turn off Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or any location services, that's going to help. What that means is whether or not you are using Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, which are different connection services on your phone, even if you're not using it, if it's turned on your phone will be constantly searching for a signal. And all that searching is going to wear out the battery. So again, here in my settings, and all cell phones have something like options or settings, I have different things. I have Wi-Fi, and you'll see it wasn't connected, but it was on. I'm going to turn that off. There are other things I could turn off. Here are my location services, map functions. The more I have turned off, the less they're draining on my battery. So these are different things that are certainly going to help the phone to last longer. There's also something called airplane mode. Now, airplane mode is something you definitely want to use if you're on an airplane. It means you can listen to music, you can play some of your games, but you're not getting any kind of a phone or a Wi-Fi signal. So just by turning airplane mode on means you're going to save your battery. Of course, if you just turn the entire phone off if it's not in use, that'll help also. And finally, you want to close all of your open applications. What that means is even when you're not using the phone, whatever the apps or applications that you used recently are still open, unless you have physically asked them to cancel or quit. Just moving to another app doesn't necessarily do that. On the iPhone, the way to access the open apps is to press the home button twice. And now, down here, you're going to see a whole bunch of apps that are running in the background. Whether or not I'm using them, they are using up my phone battery. So to close all of these, I would simply hold down 1 until I get that little minus sign, and now I can just go by and delete all of these apps. I'm not actually deleting the app, I'm just closing it. And closing all of these apps is going to help my battery. For our next viewer question, we're going to go on location.
Hi, I'm Stephanie with Technically Speaking, and I'm here in sunny Florida. Christina has a question about her iPhone. Let's see if we can help. I've been jogging with my iPhone, and it's been skipping from song to song without my pressing anything to have it do that. And I was wondering, do you think there could be something wrong with my iPhone?
Well, congratulations on the jogging. Let's see if we can help.
Thank you.
Most iPhones and iPods have a feature called Shake to Shuffle, which means if I shake this, it's going to skip to the next song. Here, I'll shake it again. And you'll see how this could get very annoying if you were jogging. To get rid of that, I'm going to go here to Settings, and you'll see the first one is Shake to Shuffle, and it's set to on. I'm going to set that to off, and Christina is going to have a much more pleasant jog, one song at a time. Thanks for asking.
Thank you so much.
Great tip. If you're a jogger or even just somebody who jostles your bag, that'll hopefully help. Let's see what our next question is. My cell phone signal is terrible at home. Is there anything I can do to boost my signal? Well, we have all been in a dead zone. I know certain spots on a highway where for sure I'm going to lose the call because there's a dead spot. While that's inconvenient, if your entire house is a dead zone, that's a big problem. There are things that are available on the market called cell phone boosters. It actually does not boost your individual cell phone, but it boosts the signal for the whole house. It's kind of like putting an antenna on the roof, and it'll give the whole house a better signal. You can buy one, and they can be quite pricey. So the first thing I'd recommend you do is to call your cell phone provider. If you call up your cell phone provider and explain the situation and explain that perhaps you'll have to go with a different provider if you can't get service in your house, I know many people who've been able to get a free cell phone booster from their provider. So give it a shot. It's worth the phone call. Here's another question. Help! I dropped my phone in the water. Is there anything I can do? Okay, I've been there and done that myself. Whether you're dropping it in a sink or I once had a 3-year-old throw my phone into a pool. Sometimes it can be salvaged. Here's what you'll want to do right away. As much as possible, you'll want to take the phone apart. For example, if you have a back panel and a battery, any other parts that you can take out, that would be great. Then open up the phone if there are any moving parts, and you want to leave everything to air dry for about 2 to 3 days. I've heard it recommended that you put all of this into a Ziploc bag with dry rice, and the rice will help to absorb the moisture. After a couple of days, put it all back together. I've had phones miraculously come back to life. So before you call and spend more money on a new phone, at least give it a few days and see if that helps. Here's our next question. I'd love to get one of those new phones, but I hate the thought of losing all of my contacts and pictures. Is there any way to transfer them over? Absolutely. Just because you've gotten a new phone doesn't mean that all that work you did inputting all of those contacts has to go away. There are always ways to sync or synchronize two cell phones. What I would recommend that you do is ask the people at the cell phone store where you're purchasing the new phone. Bring the old phone with you and ask them to set everything up. If you go at a dead time, perhaps during the day when it's not so crowded, they'd be more than happy to help you. I've had them take 2 different iPhones or 2 different brands of phone even and get all of the data transferred from one to another, or at least they can give you some step-by-step directions. So don't put off getting a new phone just because you're afraid of the whole synchronization problem. Finally, if you have any questions, or if you want to go to our website and see all of the tips we had, different websites we talked about, even step-by-step directions, please visit our website at www.technicallyspeakingtv.com. You'll see clips from some of our episodes, learn some things, maybe communicate on message boards, but most importantly, please write in with your questions so we can feature them on a future episode of Technically Speaking. Thanks for joining us.